Hi, Support Fibro friends. I'm Melissa, and I'm here with Meshea and Michelle. We are visiting the Fibro Farmhouse today. We're on the road.
On the road again. On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. Where did the friends go, Melissa?
Well, I forgot I had the cowbell.
Oh, the cowbell, baby. Okay, when we go off, then you have to ring the cowbell.
I know, I just don't know how loud it's coming in because it's like, you can't be on a road. Oh, did we lose her? Oh,
no, my paper hit it. I'm sorry.
This is the fun of being on a virtual road trip. So you can't be on a fibromyalgia road trip and not visit the Fibro Farmhouse. So we are thrilled to have Michelle with us. I know we wanted to be there in person, but Michelle, this is great. Welcome.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you, Melissa and Meshea, for inviting me today. It's a privilege and an honor to be connected with my fellow fibromyalgia warriors and to hear some music here in Eureka. That's like part of the livelihood and that we've been without since COVID has happened. So it's wonderful, wonderful.
It's great to have you. Great to have you.
Well, thank you. Well, hey, y'all, I'm Michelle DeBott, and I'm from FibroFarmhouse. I am a misunderstood fibro female. I am a fibro philanthropist, a creativity coach, and a humanitarian dedicated to helping women find the female lost in the fibromyalgia.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I think I'll hear more about all of that.
Instead of fixing what I think you want, I creatively find the relief that hums for you. So I'm a fibro female and I'm tuckered out by about 20 years of fibromyalgia. So when the temperatures drop, so do I. When they heat up, so do I. I don't live my life in battles anymore. I acknowledge the pain levels for the day. I turn on some jazz or classical music. And I sit outside on my rustic rocker and I drink coffee and I begin my day with writing, knitting, and breathing in the fine southern air. So I want you to know that I do plan, I flake, I hurt, I cook, I create, I nap, I pitch hissy fits and conniptions, I read horoscopes. And I play mom to 4 lovely grown kids and Nana to 7 grandkids.
Wow.
I eat chocolate. My craving is chips and cheese. I'm a night owl. I don't always balance right. I overdo my day always. I give up some days, and I constantly have fibro fog. I stumble over my words and my legs. I'm slow as molasses. I knit, I collage, I blog, and I help others both in our community and through Fibro Farmhouse.
So what is Fibro? What is
wrong with that?
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, it's like, so what is Fibro Farmhouse then, since you went there? So what is Fibro Farmhouse?
Sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about Fibro Farmhouse. Fibro Farmhouse is a simple country cottage that's currently located in an affordable and sustainable community. So we have a chicken coop, we have 10 chickens, we have a huge greenhouse. Vegetation is our landscaping, not grass. And each neighbor, everybody lives in a single family home, and each neighbor helps out in some way based on their skill set. So mine is counseling. I'm the coffee barista here. I'm the paperwork queen, and I also help out with gardening. So we eat fresh greens and fresh eggs. And by the way, I still suffer with severe IBS. So Fibro Farmhouse is a place, you know, it's a virtual place, but it's also my space. And so I help women unravel fibromyalgia toxins and through creative art expression and management of a more simplified lifestyle, all through a virtual connection. So FibroFarmhouse is also devoted to sharing blissful ideas, graceful tools, resources, and practices that create that art of simplicity in which to manage pain, okay? So I always call us the misunderstood female, because I feel like the misunderstood female is actually an advocate for fibro and is also a toxin breaker who believes in nudging trigger points into relief through creativity.
Wow.
So at FibroFarmhouse, one of the big things is you have to be willing to open up your seeds of honesty as the first steps to achieving a reduction in pain levels. Very important.
Absolutely.
So each fibro female, that's what I call us, us advocates, is unique and has limitations that others don't. Hence, our process caters to a very custom approach that involves creative art expression. And so when I say that, I mean things like knitting, crocheting, collaging, writing, music, yoga, nature walking, African drumming, gardening, and organizing your space. So for an example, I have created a coffee bar in my little cottage, which sounds silly to a lot of people. But
no, I love that.
Wonderful.
The quick availability of teas, coffee, and snacks helps to relieve the stress of finding, making, and filling your soul as you need to. So making your space work for your fibromyalgia, both pretty and practical, makes you feel better, especially when you're flaring.
Well, and people call me Sheldon over here. So if anyone watches The Big Bang Theory, when he provides a hot beverage to people when they need comfort. So
right. And by the way, I am the local barista here. Everybody comes, knocks on my door, and I have a huge long table. I'll have to show you sometime, my big, huge farmhouse table. And people come and they get coffee. So I always have everything. I have like little black stirrers that are disposable. I have paper cups. So I have the Keurig machine. So everything is really easy. The point is,
barista is not virtual. It's for real.
No, it's for real. It's for real. And trust me, my whole community really takes advantage of it. So yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. And it's also a place for them to chat. So if people have issues in my community, they do come to me and we sit down and, we hash it out, or I'm just there as an ear sometimes to listen to people or help them with, paperwork. Sometimes people are applying for HUD or food stamps or different resources, especially during COVID. My phone was blowing up, my texts were blowing up, and the local community knew. And so people were coming to me from the local community, not just our community, and wanting resources. And really, I am the resource queen. So with that being said, one of the things is creativity is it sprouts nourishment where medications can't. So sometimes people don't understand that it's not in lieu of, it's on the side of, they work together. Okay. So with this fibro space that I've created, it's a place for people to reflect and connect and create the unimaginable. So, sometimes people don't realize, and maybe this is a better way to explain it, but pain is I call it like a trapped bubble. You can't pop, right? So keeping in balance through creative art expression is the key to making pain more manageable. So look, we all know that all things don't work all the time, right? But the more balance and the more simplicity we incorporate into our daily rituals, the more likely we are to feel less trapped and more relief. So I always say it's 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And eventually you'll find your rhythm to pain management. So at FibroFarmhouse, since the pandemic, okay, I got to move my camera. We now call it, can you see my t-shirt?
Oh, look at that.
Fibro Female Strong, yes.
Call it
Yes.
hashtag Be Fibro Female Strong. So yeah, so that's been a big thing since the pandemic. So people always ask me, you know, how do you implement creativity into pain relief? So
I was just going to ask that question.
yeah, so there, I'm ahead of you today. So at FibroFarmhouse, we work in 3 buckets, okay? The first bucket is called the FibroFarmhouse Sprouts. And this is still being developed, so this first bucket is not completely active yet. Okay, but we're offering inspirational and healing gardening affirmations, joyful recipes, kits, and seeds of empowerment, which influence new thought patterns. And that's for promoting chronic pain healing. We have to change the story. Okay.
Yes, we do.
The process of using creativity changes how you look and feel about pain, right?
Yes.
So, it's fibromyalgia antidotes for fibromyalgia healing. And we call this blissful, magical, and wondrous. So the second bucket is the FibroFarmhouse Fiber Market. And this is a space where you tell your story through farm fresh, hand spun, and recycled fibers. So you're deconstructing, you're unraveling. People don't understand that the magnitude of unraveling a simple skein of yarn, what that can do for your pain. It changes your rhythm and it changes the endorphins, creating the pain sensitivity. Also things like knitting, crocheting, collaging, and upcycling each stitch of your life. It's fibro comfort at its best. It's calming, it's awe-inspiring, and it's soothing.
That's fantastic. I learned this from Looms for Lupus. I saw Estella pop on, and they do that as part of their support group. So it's where the name came from with the looms. So
yes, absolutely, and I think it's way cool. I've got to connect with her actually.
Well, I know when we first connected, I was hearing this comment. I was like, oh, you have to connect with all of everybody, because it's just like these conversations and breaking it down to help in the healing journey for people. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yep. So the third bucket is the FibroFarmhouse coaching. And so I have over 30 years of coaching women through health, relationships, and career shifts. So I created a specific coaching program now to help fibro females manage pain through the arts. So basically you would subscribe to a creative coaching service for weekly or monthly sessions. And also you would be part of our exclusive texting service, which is used during extended business hours and weekends. So you're never feeling alone. So, but you have to, part of the whole thing is I don't let people into my coaching services. I take less now. I'm not a full book anymore. So I take less. And so you have to be willing to unravel the toxins that keep you in a fibro bubble in which to gain clarity on your path. If you're not willing to do that, don't sign up. You will achieve breakthroughs with a tactile approach. Remember, everything is hands-on. So it's it's that tactile approach, just like Meshea, like you play the guitar.
Right.
So this becomes educational and enchanting and supportive. So we're all about community wellness and support, but you also have to be intentional and persistent to add creative art expression to your fibro treatments. And also have to be intentional and persistent to producing balance in your life. It takes commitment to your body and your mind. And it's always a work in progress. I say it's just like a farm. There's always something to do.
Oh, that's what we do with fibromyalgia. And I have a quick question too, in like preparation for this, because I know I tend to I don't see myself as very creative or artistic in a tendency, but how would I know that I'd be ready for this change?
Okay, well, you know what? It has nothing to do with like being able to draw a stick figure or to knit a sweater. Okay, it's about the process, and the process, you know, you're using your left brain instead of your right brain. Okay, so people like you, Melissa, might be a little bit more right-brained than you are left-brained. So what will happen is as you start beginning to use your left brain, okay, it's just like riding a bike. You don't know how to ride a bike at first, but the more you keep practicing, the better you get, and pretty soon you master it, right? Okay, it's the same thing. It just, that's what I talk about, the intention and the persistency of keeping going. So many people with fibromyalgia or chronic pain issues, you know, they're a day or two into knitting and they give up. They just give up. And you know what? There are days, just like I said in the beginning, that, you know, it's just not happening, you know, but, and I totally can identify with that. But for as a general rule, you have to retrain your mind to keep moving. And that doesn't mean that you're out running a marathon or you're making that sweater. To be honest with you, I've never made a sweater, and I'm a knitter. I've never attempted to make a sweater, and it's not that I couldn't. It's just that's not what I use knitting for. It never has been. I use knitting for the process. Each stitch is taking my brain through a different process and is releasing something. And when you add coaching, counseling services, and you add other things to it, and you're working and talking with somebody, it's amazing how you can get a person out of that sensitivity mode for periods of time. And then eventually you start doing that yourself.
When you said I'm willing to, I think you used the terminology unravel toxins. Is that what you said? Would you give an example of what that means?
Well, unraveling the toxins is, you know, we have so many, everybody has different toxins with fibromyalgia. I'll use me as an example. I have severe IBS, and that's one of the big things that I have, okay, besides pain. So severe IBS, so when you're knitting, you're actually, that's the process. That's why it started as unraveling, because not only are we unraveling the yarn, we're unraveling our mind, we're unraveling the pain, the trigger points, the pain points in our body. And we are unraveling also how we got there, okay? How did we get there? And whenever, you know, I've been doing counseling and coaching for so many years, I always go back. I always have to go back because I have to pinpoint that space, that time, whatever it was, to find out what had happened that had created that. And so, you know, it's almost like reverse engineering your life in order to find out how to, like, manage your life now, how to heal it. Look, I don't proclaim to have a cure for chronic pain or fibromyalgia. I'm all about management of fibromyalgia.
Well, I know that ties in with Meshea's Fibro Life on living your life and continuing to live your life.
I'm all about the living, yes. I'm all about the living. Minimize the fibro, maximize the life. Correct.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I think there's relatability right there. And I'm learning from all of you because, as you mentioned, you're probably very software engineer head over here and right brain. So this is new, exploring. And I talk about this too, visiting the Limbs for Lupus group, the support group, and doing craft. I was like, I don't know how to do, but they got me into it where we're actually winding the wire to make the necklaces. And I found myself starting to finally relax when I wasn't so critical of being perfect with creating something, that I was like, wow, I'm getting into this. I'm enjoying my time with the people I'm with. And that was very new to me.
So I'll tell you a really quick story, and maybe this might be able to help you identify. When I first came to Eureka, I've been on and off for 15 years, and we've been back here for a solid almost 5 years. So way back in the day, I used to do, when I was doing active counseling, full time, my big thing was suicide calls. And so there were local kids in the area that had suicide tendencies. So I was called on several occasions at weird hours, and I said, bring them to me. Okay. And so they brought them to me, and they were teenagers. And I had a huge pad of paper, like a giant pad of paper. And I put pencils and crayons in front of them, sat them on the couch, and I started talking with them. And I said, the main thing here is you cannot stop drawing. I don't care if you can't draw a stick figure, if you put lines, if you put swear words, I don't care. Just keep the pencils going, okay, or the crayons. And it was amazing what had happened. This happened time and time again.
Wow.
At the end of the session, I'd just be talking to them, and they would just have to keep creating. I would hold up these masterpieces to the parents, and they were like, oh my God, I had no idea, my son could do this. And the son had no idea he could do it.
Wow.
So just, you talk about unraveling toxins. We're unraveling toxins. You're subconsciously, you're coming out. And that doesn't mean everybody's going to be this world-class artist that comes out of that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, people have to, like you said, Melissa, have to release the perfectionism. And once you release that perfectionism, it's amazing what your left brain is going to produce.
Oh yeah, my jewelry looked terrible that day, but I had fun. And so that's what
And it can be very supportive, like I go to a knitting group, or maybe even have a knitting group online, or, you're getting support with other people who are like-minded as well. And think about the energy that comes from this once you produce something. So like I said, I don't produce sweaters, but I might produce a cool scarf or something at the end of it. How affirming that is to show that, wow, I did that. And really, if you think about it, a lot of that has to do with self-confidence.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think pain puts us into a space or a place where we sometimes, and I know I'm guilty of it, will lose my self-confidence.
No doubt about it. Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you.
Well, and many of us struggle with that, just having a chronic illness. And I know for having it many years, I don't know how it's difficult to build it up, for sure. So any tools that can help, that you can add into your life, are extremely helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all amazing stuff. I'm just in awe.
I know, and now my brain is like working and processing and stuff like that, because we want to have Michelle back for other talks, like into our Support Fibro friends. So I know we definitely wanted to learn more as an introduction about the FibroFarmhouse. So I appreciate all this information, and I can't wait to hear more about the integration with creativity and how we can unravel and just get in more of the community into a healing process.
Yep, absolutely.
That's amazing. So, do you have any other plans for the farmhouse? Anything in the future that you're going to be doing differently or adding on, or?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we're growing really quickly. So I really started this venture about 3 years ago, but really got active in it this past year. And so we do have some new and exciting developments that are going to be occurring for 2020. First of all, I'm in the process, and Melissa knows this, of some color changes and some logo fixes. So that got held up a little bit, and that should be completed in the next couple of weeks. We have a graphic designer in the Netherlands, so it's a lot of back and forth for us. We're still fixing our blog and adding more blog posts each week. So stay tuned, and you can subscribe to the Fibro Farmhouse newsletter at FibroFarmhouse.org. We're also going to be launching a lot more live webinars, collaborations, social media events at Fibro Farmhouse, and hopefully organizations like you guys, International Support Fibromyalgia Network.
I want you for.
We're going to be adding fiber kits, Fibro Farmhouse sassy swag, resources, tools, graceful products to accompany your fibro journey. You can connect with us at FibroFarmhouse.org. We also have a Facebook page. We also have a Facebook group that's all at Fibro Farmhouse, real easy to find us. Also, we have a Twitter and Instagram and a Pinterest at Fibro Farmhouse. We are also always available for questions via email, so you can send us a request at relief@fibrofarmhouse.org. And if you go to FibroFarmhouse.org, on the right-hand side, you can schedule a free unravel session to gain clarity and tools to manage your fibromyalgia on your terms. And we are 100% authentic and organic.
Oh, I love this. There's just so much with the word choice, and it just impacts you so much. And one of the things we explore while we are on the road, because you share pictures of being out in the garden and enjoying that stuff, but can you tell us more about visiting Eureka Springs, Arkansas? Are there fun places to go or any fun facts you want to share with us?
Sure. Well, Eureka Springs, Arkansas is a quaint little artist community of about 2,500 plus people. And it draws in tourists from all over the world to experience the charm and the culture and the beauty of this little gem. So it's the only U.S. city whose entire downtown is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The Basin Park Hotel was featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not. The Crescent and the Basin Hotel are said to be haunted, and we have seen sightings. The Thorn Crown Chapel is beautiful. It's all glass, and it's the fourth most significant architectural structure in America. It's a very popular wedding location. And we are like the mini Vegas of weddings, especially at our many B&Bs. And according to Jesse James, I thought of you, Melissa, for some reason, and his gang, they hid in the caves around Eureka. Also, Eureka Springs is home to more than 60 natural springs, and more than a dozen of them have been restored and are visitable today. So to explain this a little bit further, we are a really huggy, kissy town. We are. We love art and music, local events. We have quirky, eclectic parades all the time. We have incredible local friendships. An old friend of mine has created an African drumming circle in Basin Park on the first Saturday of every month, and he is a world-class drummer. And it's an event not to be missed. It's like a spiritual release to the gods in an open-air park that's nothing short of enchanting, soul-fulfilling, and necessary.
We have to visit. I'm so disappointed.
So we are the most friendliest town you will ever connect with. Our residents come from all over the country for creative living and community connection. You can't walk downtown without several people acknowledging your existence and authentically being friendly and helpful, whether you're a tourist or a local. It's a true Mayberry sort a town of sorts. So the old Eureka saying is, once you visit, you'll always be back. And it's always true.
And we'll be back multiple times for coffee at your place.
So I've always called Eureka, being that I've traveled all over, I've always called Eureka a cross between San Francisco's steep and windy streets and Venice Beach, where almost anyone or anything goes. We all live together in diversity, acceptance, and unconditional love.
And people, yeah, people are going to have to just check out your profile and see your pictures, because I know you do post your pictures out and about. So I think we can learn more about you, and then that way we have a tourist destination to go to when this lifts.
Yes.
Well, I know we're going to close out shortly, so this way we can get it on all our channels, because it'll be up also on the Instagram, IGTV. We're streaming now all over the internet. We're calling this our Fibromyalgia broadcast system. Anything to close us out for our Support Fibro friends?
Well, we do have a support group, just so you know. Basically, I've worked with thousands of women over the years. I can't even count, but I know it's in the thousands, okay? And so I was kind of naturally gravitated towards just gathering a bunch of fibro females together for a common goal. So over the years, I've heard so many stories of women with no support or relationships, breaking up because of fibromyalgia. And sometimes that's friendships as well as, romantic partners. So I knew I had to hold a safe space for women only to empower, change, and transform together. So I find that human connection sprouts transformation amongst us all. And we have to group together for the worldwide fibro story to change. So just to let you know, our group is not pushy. It's not filled with product endorsements. We're just a group of women coming together for supporting one another. So what I'd like to say is every fibro female has a story. So let's change the ending together, y'all.
Oh, and is this currently being held online? Do you do it normally in person and now it's online?
Well, it's currently online, so it's through Facebook. So if you go to the FibroFarmhouse page, you'll be able to connect with the group. So you just look up the FibroFarmhouse group. So as far as closing goes, I would like to say, don't ever give up this life. You'll miss the sweet tea, the possum pie, and the FibroFarmhouse hospitality. What if this is the perfect day to change the lenses of how you manage your pain? So I'd like to send love, hugs, be well, and stay safe.
That's amazing.
I know that you hit our soft spots here, especially with Meshea.
Yeah. I have every life is a story. So I mean, you're absolutely hitting all my boxes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm just glad we could bring everyone together, and thank you for sharing with us too. This is our first. Meshea and I have just been on the road on our own. So this is our first time doing an interview. So.
It's a great interview. If they're all this good, we just have to live on the road, Mel. We can never go back.
Yep.
Well, I know where we're gonna have to go. Like as we go through Albuquerque, New Mexico, we're definitely have to go to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and make a stop there.
Absolutely.
Suzanne says hello, hugs to all of you. She is definitely another one too to connect in this circle. Maybe we can try a separate a Zoom talk with all of us so I can connect everyone together.
Absolutely.
I'm thrilled to connect with all of you amazing women. It's very empowering.
It is, yes.
And I don't know if has anybody read any of Sark's books before? Wild, Succulent Women. They're very artistic. They're really great books to read to let out your creativity. Well, she's got to be one of my mentors over the years, but she sent out a newsletter this past week, and I loved her quote. Community is our immunity.
Are you able to share some of the links with us on that when we close out?
I don't have anything with me right now,
Okay.
but I think if you go to planetsarc.com, I think you can look at her website.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not familiar with that work. I think I spent too much time in science textbooks. So it's good. I love learning.
She put this out for, I have the books, but they're not right near me, so I'll have to bring them on next time. So, but the saying, her quote was just perfect, you know, for right now. Community is our immunity. And I was like, that's it right there.
Well, that is perfect for the fibro community. That's perfect. So wonderful. That's wonderful.
Well, and all of us and working together as advocates, leaders of the community, and sharing with each other. Because I think sometimes people assume as a leader, you know everything, or you don't need to improve. And I keep reminding people with this stuff is like, no, I appreciate hearing other people speak and sharing information, because we can learn a lot from each other. And that mentorship is super important, even at this advocacy and leadership level. We definitely need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's, you know, that's how people get well too, is through community. And
well, many of us leading too, or leading groups, we need to have our people that we get mentored and supported from.
Yes. Yes. We always have an old rule, because I used to do counseling. And so the old rule is I always had to have a therapist. So, you know, and it's true, because you have to have some place to dump the baggage that you're taking on all the time. So.
Oh, we have so many conversations ahead with Meshea from the Fibro Farmhouse. I'm excited. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It has been an absolute pleasure. I know tomorrow we have Meshea. We have another Meshea in Florida. She runs the Invisible Me Warriors organization, and also has this support group where she brings in speakers and things. So we really love to highlight people doing great work in the community and helping people through the healing process. So somehow we need to connect this all together. I don't know off the top of my head right now, but that's all I can think about. So thank you, Meshea, so much for joining us. I'm going to let Meshea close us out with the end of the song, Road Trip here.
All right. Well, Meshea, it was great to meet you. And when we get on the road again, literally, we're coming to Eureka Springs for sure. All right, here we've got the babies over here. We got the bears. We got the okay. All right, everybody's ready. On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again.
Thank you, Super Fibro friends. Thank you, Meshea. Thank you, Meshea.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Meshea.